Ladies and gentlemen, I would like firstly to thank the Swiss chairmanship in office for hosting the meeting, as well as for its efforts in leading the organization through this very challenging year. Let me start with mentioning one anniversary to be marked tomorrow. On December the 5th, 1999, the Budapest Memorandum on Security Assurance has been signed in connection with Ukraine's accession to the Treaty on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. The credibility of this document, providing assurance for preserving Ukraine's security, territorial integrity, and political independence in exchange of my country's voluntary renouncement of the world's third largest nuclear weapons arsenal, was destroyed this year by one of the signatories, namely by Russia. A similar fate threatens the Helsinki Final Act unless we maintain full resolve to safeguard it as the core OSCE principle it enshrines have been violated and remain under systemic attack. And lack of resolve to safeguard the core principles would mean appeasing the aggressor. The Russian aggression against Ukraine, which resulted in illegal occupation and annexation of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea and the city of Sevastopol, as well as escalation in Ukraine's east, not just violated my country's territorial integrity and sovereignty, but also undermined and will further undermine European security and continues to imperil the regional and international peace and stability. The consequences of this aggression are dire and well known. An immense deterioration of the situation on the Crimean Peninsula in the human rights sphere, prosecution on political and ethnic grounds are becoming an effect of everyday life in the Crimea under the Russian occupational rule, the breakdown of law, numerous deaths, and widespread destruction in Ukraine's Donbass. In the course of the year, we have extensively used different options from the OSCE toolbox to address the crisis in and around Ukraine. And I would like to use this opportunity to express our full support for the activities of the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission to Ukraine. We also extremely appreciate the OSCE chairmanship engagement in the work of the Trilateral Contact Group. At the same time, the general effect of the OSCE instruments, including those from the political military toolbox, used in response to crisis, has been very limited. It means the organization should take more decisive measures to identify solutions aimed at responding effectively to existing and emerging challenges. Otherwise, we risk that the OSCE will slip into oblivion as an irrelevant body. If the OSCE is to reinvent itself as an organization capable of efficiently addressing the challenges of nowadays, tangible and concrete progress is needed in certain areas. First of all, we need to restore confidence. The level of confidence between participating states will not be restored until the violations of the fundamental OSCE principles and commitments are corrected and respect for them renewed. This means also the end of illegal occupation of Ukraine's Crimea and the city of Sevastopol. Second, we need to see recommitment to the peaceful settlement of crisis situation based on the norms and principles of international law, in particular on respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of states within their internationally recognized borders. Third, we need to strengthen OSCE role in instruments in preventing conflict from emerging. Based on the present lessons, it means effective prevention and halt of aggression against an OSCE participating states, means of enforcement against the violator of the OSCE principle and commitments. Fourth, we need to effectively update confidence in security building measures of the Vienna document to bring it in line with the realities of today's security environment. Fifth, we need to unite our efforts in combating propaganda. The disgraceful abuse of journalists and media to incite hatred and violence cannot under any circumstances be defended under the pretext of protecting the freedom of speech. Sixth, we should further strengthen OSCE human rights protection mechanism to address new challenges. Unprecedentedly, Russia kidnaps our citizens and illegally keeps them from turning down every legitimate request to return them to Ukraine. I mean political prisoners like Nadia Savchenko, member of our parliament, Oleg Sentsov, and many who are still in Russian prisons. And finally, consensus rule has been always played an important role in this organization. But we must not allow it to be an impediment to effective action in crisis situation and conflict prevention and resolution. And because of that, I brought for your attention, for the attention of this distinguished audience, a document. We call it a Declaration on Ukraine. I brought it not for the sake of consensus, since I'm fully aware that impossible encountered OSCE realities. But my intention is just to express our vision on what language we would like to use in the OSCE documents. Clear language to defend clear commitments. Based on the principles of 3 Cs, commitments cannot be compromised for consensus. Many thanks for your attention.